LG washing machine. Customer's complaint is whenever it goes into spin mode, it's jumping like crazy, aggressively. So I figured it was just the shock absorbers. So I'm gonna show you a few tips and tricks just to verify that this is your problem and it doesn't have anything to do with the bearings inside the washer or anything. So first thing we're gonna notice here, these are your shock absorbers. On some models you would have, well, definitely not on LG, but on some models, say for instance if you had like a Whirlpool or a Samsung or something, or a Maytag, you'll have 1, 2, and then let me show you these other two in the front. So you got one right there, and then you got another one right there. So notice that the rust that you see on the shock absorber, that's heavy rust right there. So it lets you know that the hydraulic grease inside of here has gone all the way down to the actual base of the shock absorber. It means that when this thing is spinning, it's dropping on the ground. So the grease pattern, along with the little rust, the oxidation on the outside, lets you know that how far that shock absorber has been down. Same thing with this one over here. You shouldn't have the shock absorber lithium grease down on the shaft of the shock absorber. So same thing with this one here. You notice the grease goes all the way down. So when this thing goes into spin mode, it's jumping. So I got it going. I just got the back off, and I got the top panel off just to check the tub while it's agitating. And it works. This is your soap dispenser drawer here. Don't want to open that while the water valves are on. This is the housing here. It's connected to the 3-way valve and the hot. So you got these different settings up here, and that's what these represent. This is your pressure switch. When you are selecting your load size here, excuse me, right there, when you're selecting that load size, that pressure switch has a tube from it. This tube right here, it goes down, get around here, around the back. So this pressure tube goes down here, this is the other end of it, into the hose. So what happens is, as this fills up with water, the tub fills up with water, air comes up this pressure tube, and then it hits this switch, and it has a balloon-like element inside of it, and whatever you have it set for on the panel is where the switch will indicate where it should shut off. It's got 3 positions. So you got small, medium, and large. So that's what it does there. This is where the water comes in to the tub. On some models, you have a hose underneath here that goes to the tub. Oh, that's some dirty water, look. Spitting it out. Some dirty water. The electrical coil, and what happens is the rotor is the magnetic cap. So this thing is inverted, which means that it's getting power here up into the stator, and what happens is, as it generates electricity due to the inverted voltage on the board, it goes at the rate of speed that it needs to go. So these washers get up to about 11 or 1200 RPMs on the spin speed, which is pretty fast. And if things on this washer aren't working the way they're supposed to, then it gotta heard some noise up here. Maybe I didn't. But yeah, if these shock absorbers aren't doing what they need to do while this thing is spinning, it'll never work properly. There's a bearing in the center of this tub, and if this thing just keeps bouncing up and down, it'll eventually knock out the bearings and the lithium grease, and you'll start to hear a hollowing sound whenever it goes into a high spin speed. So we're gonna put this thing into drain and spin mode. Just gonna trick it. So we're just gonna stop it, let the door unlock, go to drain and spin. So we're gonna let it spit some of the water out. We're gonna see what this thing looks like when it's on spin mode. So you'll know exactly what to look for whenever you have the same issue, because is a thing. If your tub is empty and you don't have any clothes in there, if you reach in and you turn the inner tub, the stainless steel, you open the door, reach in, and you turn the inner tub as fast and as hard as you can. If you hear a hollowing or a screeching or a scratching sound, chances are it's just bad bearings in the back. But if that's not the issue and you turn it and it's silent or it purrs like a cat, there's no mechanical issue back there with anything. And as long as the rotor and stator is working how it should be, like it's turning right now, it's turning to close, that's working like it should be, that means that there's no problem up there. You don't have to look up there. So what you should do is start looking at what supports the tub. So in these instances, you got these springs which hold the tub up, and very seldomly do you ever have to replace these. I recommend replacing them if you're going to replace this inner shell. That's the only time I recommend replacing them, but for the most part, they shouldn't be they shouldn't be spread out. You know, you'll know because these things will be all the way on the floor. So you're gonna see what it looks like. Wow, it's spinning. Look at that. It's already rocking. It hadn't even gotten up to the speed that it needs to. It's already rocking. Let's go look at the back. Let's go see what this thing looks like. Look at it. Wobbling. Wop, wop, wop. Yep. I think those shock absorbers need to be replaced. We're going to wait to see what it looks like when it starts spinning really fast. Because we ain't seen none yet. Well, as a matter of fact, what I can do, since I'm just testing it. Alright, so on these models, if you want to put this thing in a diagnostic mode, some of them require you to push spin speed and soil level and power all at the same time, and others require you to push spin speed, wash, rinse, and the power button all at the same time. Not the start button, but the power button. So you push this button and these two buttons all at once, or you push those two buttons and that power button all at once. So I'm going to do this really quick, and on this one it's going to be these two buttons, which is the spin speed and the wash, rinse. So just give me one second. Wait, let me stick something else in there. As a matter of fact, yeah, I got another one right here. I'm gonna put that in there with this one underneath. So see that mold in there? That is from not leaving the door open after every cycle. If you have a bad bearing back there, chances are you either overloaded this washer too much, or you have not been leaving this door open. So a good practice, a common practice would be to leave this open and this open, because they're always wet. You know, you want constant air to flow through here so that way the mold doesn't go. So these tubs do have air hoses. You see this? It's just a hose. It's not connected to water or anything. And that's an air vent right there on the back. So what happens when you leave this door open, this passive air flows through there and is able to not mold up your door boot like that. And a good practice would be to wipe that out, you know, after every few loads, because the soap that they have nowadays, oh my gosh, yeah, totally not good. So we're gonna pack this thing like a customer normally would. I'm gonna show y'all. So look, still got a little bit of space. I can stick a few towels in there if I wanted to. So if you look up in there, still got a little bit of space. I didn't load it all the way full, but I'm gonna fill this up with water with both of these blankets in here, because this would be like a regular load for most people. And we're gonna see what she does. So I'm gonna put her back in diagnostic mode, skip the spin cycle, show you how to do that, and just get to the fill cycle so that way I can saturate them, and then I'll put it in spin. So just give me 1 second. All right, back to diagnostic mode, my friend. Start. You hit it 2 times, hit it again, hit it 1 more time. All right, there we go. So skip both of the spin cycles. You just hit the button once, you hit it twice, and if it keeps, some models have a drain and spin. Some of them just have a drain and then a spin and a high-speed spin. So you may have to push the button 2 or 3 times to get it to stop spinning. But as soon as you hear the water come out, it's good. It's fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna saturate these clothes real heavy. So I don't have the hot water hooked up to it, but you'll know if these valves are working or not, because if you come here and pinch these hoses, you hear the difference? I just stopped it. It's going through there. It's only going through this one here. So that's how you know if your valve is feeding pressure in here. In this subscription box here. So we're gonna let these get saturated. Alright, so all I did was push the button 2 times past the fill cycle, and it went straight to the agitation cycle. So I'm going to keep letting these agitate until they're both fully saturated. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Alright, and I think these are fully saturated, so we're going to hit this button once. Now on some models, this would be where a recirculation pump would come on, and there would be a nozzle up here, and it would spray water onto the front of the clothes. Now we're going to skip that. Now it's going into a final drain and spin, but we're going to reset it. Alright, so we reset it. Alright, so we're going to get to the immediate spin. Got to dump out some of the water before it gets there. See that? See that? That's what it would look like if you had a regular load. Just imagine if, look at that. That's a regular load for most people. That's bad. Look at that. These shock absorber. Too low, man. Malcolm will give the hands. Peace.